So the GFA has made its decision, and it looks like Carlos Queiroz is here for the long haul for about 2 years, I think. We're waiting for that official confirmation from them, but he's the man to take the Black Stars through the AFCON qualifiers, potentially the tournaments when we qualify. It's a trade-off. There are important things that we're going to lose by virtue of the decision to go with Carlos Queiroz, but there are also important things that we're going to win or we're gaining by retaining him. And I will explain that in a moment. But before I do that, please subscribe to the channel, put this on notification, and leave me a comment. I want to know what you guys think. Are you happy about the decision to give Carlos Queiroz the job long term? If you're not, why? What expectations do you have of him? Please share that with me. But I like the decision. I like the timing of it because they've acted very quickly. There is no time. The World Cup qualifiers, the AFCON qualifiers are 2 months away. So there is no time for a new manager to come in and learn. So basically, we were stuck with Carlos Queiroz. Fortunately for us, it's a good man to be in captivity with. So I like that. The familiarity, the continuity will help. He has had 5 weeks with the team. That is more than most coaches get. In fact, if you're a national team coach, the only time you have a sustained period with a group is when it's major tournaments. And fortunately for us, it looks like this will be a seamless transition into the AFCON qualifiers because he had 2 weeks with the team in training for the World Cup and then 3 weeks at the tournament itself. So that should help in familiarity. Now he knows how the management committee works. He knows the administrative setup well. In terms of the players, he has a fair idea which of them he can trust, who will play through the pain barrier, who will sacrifice for the team and all of that. Even in terms of executing the fine details of his tactics, he knows which players can interpret his instructions quite well, which of them can, beyond understanding their own job, be able to interpret its implications in terms of how their teammates and the grand plan is, and maybe even be able to keep their teammates on their toes. He knows who the actual leaders in the dressing room are and who the pretend leaders in the dressing room are. So all of these things are important, and he's better prepared than any Black Stars coach will be at the time when they were hired for the first time because he now has intimate knowledge of the squad. But there will be a trade-off. I think Ghanaians have to accept the fact that you are not going to see entertaining football. You are not going to see football that will platform some of your best attacking talents in the manner that will allow them to entertain you while getting results. So I don't think someone like Brandon Thomas Asante, I don't think someone like Augustin Boache, I don't think players like that are going to be mainstays. Kudus will return and will be an important figure in the team. But I'm just saying, you won't see football that will entertain you, so don't expect it. You won't see the Black Stars going into games and trying to impose themselves, which might be problematic when you consider the fact that for a lot of the teams the Black Stars will face on the continent, we will be expected to take the initiative and try to break down teams who will play like we did at the World Cup, because we are Ghana, 4-time African champions, heavyweights, even if the last 7 years have not gone according to plan. So there will be that challenge of him being required to break down teams that are playing football that he ordinarily would be playing. So there are issues with the style. But I'm not bothered by the style conversation, right? I'm the same person who's told you this, but I'm not bothered by it. And I will explain. I'm not bothered because where we are now, we cannot afford to be fixated with style. Substance over style. The Black Stars have not been competitive for a long time. So we need the Black Stars to get used to winning on a sustained basis. Playing football that is sustainable, playing football that gets results consecutively. That's what our preoccupation should be. You shouldn't be worried if the football is not nice. Because in the past, we have struggled to beat even teams that you should think are significantly weaker. And I will explain that, but let me start with the issue of we not winning games. Did you know that the win against Panama, which was our only win in the tournament, is only Ghana's third win in a major tournament in 7 years. Since AFCON 2019, we have won only 3 matches at major tournaments. The win over Guinea-Bissau, in Tunisia, in Egypt, AFCON 2019. Since then, we haven't won any game at the AFCON. So, we drew 2 other games. I think we lost to Cameroon, and then we drew with Benin. Or was it Togo in our group? Then in the round of 16, we lost to Tunisia. So we won 1 game at AFCON 2019. Then we went to the World Cup in 2022. No, AFCON 2021 before the World Cup. At AFCON 2021 in Cameroon, we lost to Morocco. We lost to Comoros. And then we drew with Gabon. So we didn't win a game. We went to AFCON 2023 in Cote d'Ivoire. We lost to Cape Verde. We drew with Egypt. We drew with Mozambique. So the last 3 AFCONs, we've won 1 match against Guinea-Bissau. The 2 other wins we've managed from major tournaments came at the World Cups. Against South Korea in 2022 and against Panama. So AFCON 2019, AFCON 2021, World Cup 2022, AFCON 2023, World Cup 2026. 5 major tournaments. We have won 3 matches out of 15 attempts. 15 attempts. We've won just 3 matches. On the average, we win 1 game out of every 5. The last AFCON, we did not qualify. Now to the other points of the teams we have struggled to beat. We went through the entire AFCON qualifiers without winning a single game. The last one. We faced Sudan, Niger. In that group of 4 teams, we did not win a single game. Angola beat us home and away. We lost to Sudan away. We drew here. We lost to Sudan. We lost to Niger at the Accra Sports Stadium. In fact, in the last AFCON qualifying campaign, we lost both our long-standing unbeaten record at Baba Yara and the same record at the Accra Sports Stadium. This is the Black Stars we have now. So we're not in the position to be prioritizing or to be making demands of style and how the football has to look. Yeah, ideally, and I'm a sucker for good football because I will take entertainment and results. I don't always believe that there has to be a trade-off. But in the context of the Black Stars, it will be foolish on my part to start demanding great football from a team that for 7 years has proven they simply can't do it. They can't even win football matches. So let's get used to winning again. And I like the fact that the coach has been tasked to win the next AFCON. It is in keeping with our tradition of maintaining very high standards. Yeah. Because no matter how low we sink, we have to remind who we are. And that's what will help us get out of it. So that when we are climbing out, we know how high we have to aim for. So go for the next AFCON, but first qualify. And in qualification, you're probably going to win 4 out of the 6 games, 5 out of the 6 games if you are great, and then qualify. And if you go to the tournament, you probably win 4 games, because 3 group stage games, if you're very good, you win all 3, probably win 2, draw a 3rd, and then win 2 games or 3 games after that. So 3 knockout games, that takes you close to the semis or the quarters. But even as I say, we have to aim for the AFCON title. I am under no illusions about how far behind we are, because the last time we qualified for the semis of the AFCON was in 2017. Since then, we haven't made it past the round of 16. The last tournament, we didn't qualify. The 2 before, we didn't qualify out of the group. So a semi-final berth is perhaps a more realistic target, or is more attainable, let me put it that way, or quarter-final. So this is where we are. And that's why you watching me should not be too worried about the nature of the football and how pretty it is or isn't. I want to see our best players. What I want to see is a team that is competitive, that is difficult to beat, a team that has a clear pathway to goal. So yes, I will take the defensive compact football, but I want to see a certain clarity in terms of how we attack, right? I'm not asking for attacking football. I'm saying when we have because to win games, you need to score goals. And to score goals, we need to have a way to the opponent's net. So I want to see a sustainable method in terms of how you get chances and how you get goals. That's all I ask of Carlos Queiroz. Be difficult to beat. Don't concede chances. Don't concede goals. Platform our best players and let us find a sustainable way of getting goals. That's it. That's all I ask from Carlos Queiroz. And I think that's what you should also ask from Carlos Queiroz. And of course, the fact that we need to start winning games on a more consistent basis. I like the fact that we have not been stopped by the cost of sustaining Carlos Queiroz, because I always said going for cheap was expensive. Otuado cost us almost $3 million US. Yeah. He was here for 2 years. He was on a 3-year contract. By the time he was done, we had paid him about 2 years worth of his salary. He had 10 months or so remaining on his contract. And the way these contracts are structured, when a coach is being fired, more often than not, you pay them the residual value of their contracts in lieu of paying a hefty compensation. So, and their lawyers will always tell them, never settle for less. It's one of two. Either I'm getting a fat check as a payoff, or you are paying me the remaining length of my contract, and then we shake hands and then go. Now, if you compare that $3 million US expenditure to Carlos Queiroz and how much it costs, Queiroz is on $100,000 US a month. For 2 years, that's $2.4 million US. But his appointment in 2 months, what he's given us, it didn't take him 18 months to learn on the job like Otuado did. Otuado took 18 months to learn on the job. And by the time the first year was over, we had failed to qualify for the AFCON. That's how much it cost us. That's how much hiring cheap cost us. Carlos Queiroz, under 2 months, qualified us out of the group. And for the first time, we played knockout football at a major tournament for the first time in 7 years. What's more, we earned, I think, $2 million more, because we're coming home with about $13 million US because we qualified out of the group. So let's stay the course. Let's stay the course and be willing to commit money in terms of funding our national teams, especially the Black Stars coaching departments. Hire the best minds. It pays. So those are my 2 cents on the Black Stars coaching job.